All right. Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to the Sunday Night YouTube Live. Right now, we got futures basically flat, S&P and Dow basically unchanged, which really would be kind of after Thursday and Friday. You had kind of those two big sell-off days. I would consider it really a positive that, as of right now, obviously a lot can change by morning, but as of right now, no big gap down from the weekend that, again, obviously it's a long way from 9:30 Eastern, but it's always encouraging to see markets at least stabilize a little bit after those two big down days. Now, I'll keep an eye on that through the live stream, but just kind of getting started. I mean, really, I saw a lot of people kind of panicking the last couple days. And number one, incredible day trade opportunities. Like when the overall markets get shaky like this, people always ask me, what do you think? What do you think about, the market selling off? And a lot of you that have been here a while, I mean, I always say the same thing. I'm like, that's why we day trade. The whole point of, you don't have to put yourself in that position where when, your long-term holdings are selling off and you're panicking because, as I often talk about, look at a 100-year chart of the S&P. Basically, every dip for 100 years has been a buy. But the point is, if you learn how to day trade, which is basically what this entire channel is about. I mean, I talk a little bit of swing trading here and there, but whether it be Matt and me or Matt and Bryce, it's all day trading related. And I just always consider day trading to be the ultimate hedge. Like when people are, how do I hedge against my long-term holdings? Oh, my Apple or my, NVIDIA or my Microsoft, they had a couple rough days. How do I hedge against that? My point is day trade every day. That's your hedge. Now, that doesn't mean you're going to make money every day trading, but at least you put yourself in the situation where you can still profit from the markets and you don't have to sit there and micromanage your long-term holdings. Now, on that note, listen, the indexes have been on an absolute tear, basically from the Liberation Day lows. If you were watching me back during Liberation Day, I was like, buy the dip, okay? But you look back at, actually, let me go to the chart of the S&P. I mean, you go back to, let me zoom out here to a 1 year, 1 day. You look at those lows. Actually, let me share my screen. Right there. I mean, right there's Liberation Day. Whoops. And actually, I'll draw you a trend line. I mean, look at where we've gone, since Liberation Day. So you also have to, when it comes to a few red days, you have to zoom out a little bit. Now, yet again, I will say, learn to day trade. You don't have to worry about your long-term holdings if you're day trading. But that being said, I mean, listen, look at that move since Liberation Day. Basically, straight up. I mean, sure, there were a few red days, but the trend, if you look at the trend, actually, let me draw a little better trend line here. This is probably a little better kind of trend line. I mean, it's basically the same angle, maybe slightly less extreme than the first angle I drew. We were due for a pullback, and listen, markets can't go up every day. Obviously, people would prefer if the market went up every day, but they can't. Okay, there's going to be profit taking. There's going to be news that spooks people. Markets can't go straight up forever. So overall on the week, though, S&P was still up 1.5%. NASDAQ, after those rough days, after 2 days, Thursday and Friday, rough days, NASDAQ or S&P up 1.5%, NASDAQ 1%, Dow 1.3%, and Russell 2000, the small cap index, 0.9%. Again, Thursday and Friday were rough, but the week still wasn't bad. And a lot of it was the jobs report. Now, funny enough, the guy that compiles the jobs report also got fired. UNH, good dip buy? No. I've been very clear, guys. I think UNH is going to freaking, like, I don't listen, short UNH. Okay. So usually I try not to skip around. Short UNH, I think it's going to zero. Now, that's an exaggeration. I think that is a little bit of, I mean, I don't think it's actually going to zero, but this chart is completely broken. They got problems at UNH. Like, look at this chart. It broke down on Friday. Okay. It broke support. Like, this is an absolute disaster. Now, my opinion is, and you don't have to listen to my opinion, if you do anything with UNH, short this thing. I mean, this chart is completely broken with so much downside yet to come. I mean, look at this 10-year chart. Let me get rid of my Oracle signals. Sorry to get distracted. I try and focus, but I mean, you want to know the definition of a broken chart. Okay. Look at the 10-year chart of UNH. I mean, if it breaks 160, and it's not that far away, I mean, it's down from 600 to 200. This thing breaks 160. It could break 100. It could go to 50. I mean, this stock is fundamentally and completely, totally broken. Okay. And they got fundamental problems too. Okay. Investigations, fraud, like sketchy stuff going on UNH. Sorry to get distracted, but I watch the comments, and when I see people talking about dip buying UNH, I get the freaking heebie-jeebies, man. Anyway, now most of you listen. Most of you probably don't short. So in that instance, listen, I would just avoid it. John thinks they'll get bought out. Yeah, they'll probably get bought out at like $100 a share. So John, and listen, guys, I kind of go where the audience goes me. Yeah, I mean, listen, UNH, they got revenues. Let's take a look at their fundamentals here. I mean, they obviously have a business. They got 400 billion in revenue. They're sitting on 34 billion in cash. Their debt isn't that bad. I mean, they got free cash flow of $24 billion. So someone will buy this. Okay. Like if you're another big health insurer, like someone will put a bid in for this. Like, listen, it wouldn't surprise me to see like Warren Buffett come in and buy this thing. But you guys got to remember, Uncle Warren is the classic guy. He ain't paying retail for nothing. Okay. Now listen, I greatly respect Warren Buffett, arguably the most successful investor of all time. But you know how he got to be the most successful investor of all time? He buys companies that are down way more than UNH is. Now listen, whether it be Uncle Warren or it be some other insurer, someone will buy them, but wouldn't surprise me if they buy them at $100 a share, which means you got another $137 of downside. So if you're buying if you're buying shares of UNH, hoping for a buyout, you got a long way ahead of you. Figma. Guys, actually Figma. I'm not really doing a good job on my agenda. Did you guys see the RCT on Figma on Thursday? Thursday would have been, what was that? The second. Let me get my notes here. Did anyone trade that RCT on Figma? It was absolutely Glorious. There it is. So, by the way, you guys know how much I love the RCT. The RCT also applies to IPOs because what's the recipe for an RCT? We want a straight vertical stock, straight vert, and then we wait for that first red 5-minute candle. Now, if you recall, Figma was priced to trade at $33 a share. It was priced to trade at $33. It opened, okay? So it opened at 80. So this is what we often talk about this when there's a hot IPO. We talked about another one. What was the last one? It was about a month ago. The last hot IPO that put it in RCT. I'm struggling. But anyway, think about it was supposed to trade at 33. So think start with 33 as your starting point. Now it never traded at 33, but that's where it was priced. That was where the IPO was priced. It then got oversold. Tons of people wanted shares of Figma. So it opened at like 85. So you've already got a straight vertical move there. Now I know some of you are going to say, Tim, it didn't trade, but listen to the words I'm saying. It was priced to open at 33. So think of 33 to 85 as the initial move outside of, even though it never traded at 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, etc. Then it proceeded to go from 80 to 116. So it basically went from 33 to 116, then put in a red 5-minute candle. Now you can see that candle in the yellow box, 112.78 by 112.06. So that is what we use for the entry and the stop loss. Is everybody following? Okay. We wait for the first red 5-minute candle, and then we use the top and the bottom of that after the parabolic move. And then we use the top and the bottom of that candle for the entry and the stop loss. So you've got an entry of 112.78 on Fig and a stop loss of 112.06. Now you'll notice this stock, okay, sold off, never retested the top of that first red candle. It sold off. And at the time I took this screenshot, because I wanted to share this with you guys, it was at like 100. Then fast forward to 3:30 p.m. and let me zoom in. And let me get rid of some of my indicators here. So now let's fast forward to 3:30 p.m. Right there. You can see where it tested 112.78. So that's the entry. And guess what? It went to 150 later that night. That was the trade on the RCT of Figma on day one of the IPO. So if you, and again, I talk about RCTs almost every single week. And I don't know, like it feels like we just kind of go over the same thing. Because I tell you every morning, like when people are like, hey, what's the number one trade for the morning? I'm like, guess what? 7 to 9 a.m., a straight parabolic stock that puts in a red 5-minute candle and then retests the top of the body of the 5-minute candle. And then you use the bottom of that candle for the risk. And yes, I ignore the wicks. When you're using the RCT, we are using the body. Now I've said that several times. I ignore the wicks. We use the body both to establish the entries and exits, as well as to decide when to enter. You're going to wait until the body of the candle is at the entry. And again, that was at 3:30 p.m. on Figma. You had to wait several hours, but it was absolutely beautiful. 112.78 to $150 later that night. Just an absolute way to completely crush day one IPOs. Now they have to go vertical. Okay. Not all IPOs do what Figma did. Okay. They don't all do this. So if you're using again, and this is where people drive me nuts because they think an RCT is any 5-minute candle. It is not. What has to precede the first red 5-minute candle? It has to be a parabolic move, which, going back to Figma, priced to trade at 33, opened at 84, went to like 115, then put in the RCT. That is what you have to watch for. And the same thing is going to repeat tomorrow morning. I guarantee you between 7 and I say this every week. Like, people are always like, Tim, you say it every week. And you want to know what happens every Monday morning? You want to know what happens every single Monday morning between 7 and 9 a.m.? A low float stock with news goes straight parabolic, puts in a red 5-minute candle, retests the high, and then goes up like 100%. And like every single Monday, that happens. And almost every single day of the week, that happens. But yet people are still like, but hey, I'm here to help. I'm here to help, even if it gets a little repetitive. So there's your number one play for tomorrow. I just laid it all out. So, on that note, listen, guys, I'm going to move on. I feel like we talk RCTs like every single week, every week. And I think it's the simplest pattern in the world to see. Like, I don't know. Like, the reason I use the RCT and teach the RCT is I'm just like, to me, it's like the simplest pattern ever to trade. Now, if you want more details, how to trade the RCT, join me at 8 p.m. tonight. So I just put a link in the chat. Join me at 8 p.m. if you want more details. Okay. Now, here's what's funny is, like, if you guys got the watch list, hopefully everybody got the watch list. Let me get you the link. I talked about this on the weekly watch list video. I did a weekend workshop this weekend, and it was absolutely incredible. It was incredible. All day Friday, all day Saturday. Were any of you there? Like, dude, did I just say dude? Dude. But you know what? I'm going to go with dude. Dude, the weekend workshop was lit. It was lit, son. It had the Riz. Anyway, but here's what's crazy. 1,500 people registered for that weekend workshop. Actually, let's have some fun. 1,500 people registered. How many do you guys think actually showed up? Give me some guesses. Like, everybody always is like, I want to learn. I want to learn. I want to learn. I want to know more. Like, I do all these webinars, all these workshops, all this stuff. Like, 1,500 registered. Everyone says they want to learn. How many do you think actually showed up? Yeah, I think it was like 250. Yeah. And that was high attendance. That's what's crazy. Normally, like, this weekend was really high attendance. Normally, it's like 100 people. Everybody says they want to learn more. Oh, give us more information. Teach us more. Tim, a lot of your videos, they're just short and quick. I want more details. And most weeks, it's like 100. It's like 100 people. This week was actually high. But still, it was like 250, 300 out of 1,500 people. Now, the reason I bring that up is, if you really, truly want to know the RCT, like, and hopefully we won't have to spend every single night, every Sunday night, talking about the RCT. you can, and let me put that link in again, you can simply join me at 8 p.m. and I'll teach you every single thing about the RCT. But this is what's going to happen. I guarantee you guys, I'm going to invite everybody to this webinar. And what do you guys think the number one topic next Sunday night's going to be? And how many people do you think next Sunday night will just like every week in a row say, what's an RCT? Do you use the wicks? Is it the body? How much does it need to be up? What's the pattern you look for? What's the volume you look for? Like, so sorry, rant over. But at the end of the day, you can lead a man to, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink, at the end of the day. So that being said, guys, let me get back to my agenda. RTX, number one swing trade of the week. Actually, let me do something. Tim Bohen, Schwab TV. Where is it? Yeah. So June 17th, let me see if I can find the right here. Yeah, right there. Beauty. So, whoops, where is it? Right there. Whoops, I don't want that one. I want this one. So June 17th, I was on Schwab TV. And like, they really didn't want to talk penny stocks. Like, if you want, you can Google Tim Bohen Schwab TV. I was on back on June 17th, and I was on again last week. Very happy with them. But, they don't want to talk penny stocks. So I started talking penny stocks, and I could see it in her eye. Like, she started giving me the stink eye. Like, and I'm like, okay. And so they want to talk real stocks. So I was prepared for that. So before I went on, I used my swing trade AI to basically give me the number one swing trade, and it was Raytheon. Now, if you look at the chart of Raytheon right now, it broke out 52-week highs last week, up huge from a month ago. And what I'm getting at is love this for continued highs. Now, remember, this is a month ago. They even got me with the little, I like how the chart matched my tie. Well done, Mrs. Bowen, on the tie. Look at that. I think you guys all know this. Mrs. Bowen dresses me, okay? But look at that. The tie matched the blue of Schwab. It even matched the chart and the lower third. Well done, Mrs. Bowen. So anyway, now I know Raytheon is very high priced, but understand there are options, okay? So those of you that want to trade options, tomorrow night, Ben and I are doing a strategy session where I go over the number one Iris trade, and then he goes over the options on that trade. Odds are Raytheon is going to be it. But if you're just looking for kind of that number one stock of the week for a potential swing trade, love Raytheon. I love it even more than I did a month ago. And it hit new 52-week highs this week. And with all of this, war situation that we're dealing with, like, who's going to benefit? Raytheon's going to benefit. Okay. So that being said, by far and above, unfortunately, as things continue to ratchet up in the Middle East, now we're sending nuclear subs to Russia. So like, hey, if the missiles start popping off and the drones start flying, who's going to benefit? Raytheon. Now remember, guys, this is a swing trade. This is not the type of stock you day trade. Well, you can day trade the options. Okay, you can, like, options you could day trade, but this is a longer term swing idea. And again, if you're on the watch list, it's 4 day trades and then 1 swing trade. And remember, I'll get you the sign up because people ask every week. And let me put that in. It's mostly day trades. And then the nice thing is, those of you on the weekend workshop, basically you guys, we built the watch list together. So those of you that were on the, like any of you that were on the weekend workshop, you don't need the watch list. We spent like an hour and a half going over it live all weekend long. So, but those of you that want it, it is free, goes out every Sunday. As usual, I didn't get to 10% of my agenda, but it's 7:30. I got that RCT webinar at 8. I got to just kind of get around and get ready for that. So let me give you the link to that RCT webinar. If you're one of the people that every week you can join me at 8. Okay. So anyway, I didn't get to a 10th of my agenda, but I like the questions on, like we talked about UNH and Figma were not on the agenda, but like at the end of the day, it's a live webinar and I want to cater the webinar to you guys. So I didn't get to hardly anything on the agenda. I hit the big points, but Figma and UNH weren't on the agenda. But hopefully you guys got some value from that, like how to use the RCT for IPOs, how to understand the mechanics of an IPO, when they open, why Figma started trading at 80 versus 33. And then also UNH, just a great example of an absolute broken chart that you should avoid like the plague until it, well, listen, again, if UNH goes to 100, buy it. Because at 100, Warren Buffett will probably be behind it. But to buy UNH at 230, like you got so much downside ahead of you that just wait till it absolutely craters, then start dipping your toe in. But to buy it right here with the technicals completely broken and the fundamentals are broken. The fundamentals are broken on UNH as well. So anyway, good discussion, but I really got to run 7:30. Have a great night, my friends. We'll see you next Sunday night. Or hit that link. I'll see you at 8 p.m. But I know what'll happen. Every single person that every week asks what's an RCT, they will not be on that webinar. I guarantee it. I guarantee. Death, taxes, and the people that ask every week what's an RCT and how do I trade it, the one certainty, probably more certain than death and taxes, my Zen popped out, is the fact that they won't go to that webinar. Have a great night, my friends. Love you.